everyone, so welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a little bit different. This is the very first video that I've done reviewing a product that was sent to me, and as you've come to expect, my reviews are honest. They will always be honest. I don't care if I pay for a product or if it was given to me as a gift or if it was sent to me for free for review purposes. So today's video is reviewing a makeup sponge called the Lemon Drop and a Kabuki brush. This is the F250. These are both from Mikasa Beauty. They were sent to me several weeks ago, and I have been using these a lot off camera. You will start to see these incorporated in my videos because I do actually enjoy them. So let's talk about the sponge. This is a makeup sponge. We've all heard about the whole sponge technique, about using a damp sponge to apply foundation. It seems to be something that's very popular. Now this one is a really bright yellow color, which I think is fun. It is dirty. I'm sorry, but I do use this pretty regularly, and I will be showing you how this looks dry and how it sort of plumps up a little bit when it's dampened with some water. And of course a demo using this. So this little sponge here has a very unique sort of kind of like an hourglass shape where it's a little bit fatter here and just a slight point here, and I like using the flatter side to apply my foundation, as you will see in the demo, and then taking the pointed side and sort of like pinching down a little bit just to kind of maneuver the sponge to get under the eye area so that I can blend in my concealer and then sort of pull it down. The point is also really great to get around the nose, around your brows to sort of clean up, get around the hairline and maybe around the ears, and you could also do a rolling technique with this if you wanted to apply the foundation. Now, the biggest thing that I noticed when I first got this sponge was how soft and just squishy it is. I have used a lot of sponges in the past where they are extremely hard, and they are actually in a way somewhat painful when you're blending your foundation in, and you don't want to feel pain or discomfort when applying your foundation. So I do like the texture of the sponge. I think it's really soft, and the great thing is that when you've dampened the sponge and you've wrung out all of the water, it still remains very soft and very pliable and squishy, so it's not going to get too firm where it becomes an issue when applying your foundation. Now I have a couple other sponges that I use. This is like a Real Techniques sponge. As you can see, they're very different in shape and in size. Real Techniques has a flat side and a more pointy side. Kind of sort of like a beauty blender, but not as pointy as the beauty blender itself. I don't have that to compare this Lemon Drop sponge to, so unfortunately I can't give you thoughts on that. But I do think that both of these are neck and neck for me. If I have to be honest, the Lemon Drop is a lot softer and just smoother, whereas the Real Techniques is just a little bit more spongier feeling. And even though this is great, I've talked about the Real Techniques many of times, it's still a great sponge and I do like that one, but this one is just so much softer. And I've seen sponges like this at Marshall's and places like TJ Maxx, Home Goods, places like that, where you get them really cheap. But the problem with that is that they're really hard. And I do have one sponge that I got from my dollar store, and as you can see, it's definitely more of a teardrop shape than the Mikasa Beauty Lemon Drop, but it is much harder. Even though you wet it, it still remains very hard. So I do like this. As you will see in the demo coming up, I really enjoy it, and I do recommend that you try this sponge out. So the next product that I have to give you my thoughts on is the Mikasa Beauty F250 Kabuki brush. This was sent to me as well as part of this, which you can get both of these in a bundle. I will have the price listed on the screen. It's around $20 for you to get both of them. You can purchase them individually if you prefer, but I am a big fan of makeup brushes. I have a big collection of brushes. It's kind of embarrassing how many brushes I have that are not really necessary, and it's been a long time since I've used a Kabuki brush. I can't remember the last time I picked one up and used it, but since they sent me this, I decided to give it a fair chance and use it, and I do enjoy it. I do like that it's nice and rounded. I do like how all of the bristles are nicely tapered, and it feels very soft. I wouldn't say it's the softest brush that I own or the softest brush that I've ever used, but it is very soft, and the purpose for me as far as using this, I like to use this to set my foundation with some powder. I have used this just over my moisturizer with some powder foundation just to kind of even out my skin tone. I have used it to bronze my skin. You can use it slightly on the side if you wanted to contour. If you were in a pinch, you could do that. But I feel like the best purpose or the use for this is to buff in some foundation, whether it's a powder. This will be great for mineral foundation, or just translucent powder that you really want to kind of buff into the skin to set the foundation and get rid of sort of that wet look that foundations or cream products can have on the skin. So I do think that this is a good brush to use. I have experienced just minor shedding. It's not bad to the point where I don't want to use it. Like some of my Sigma brushes, they shed just by touching it, all the bristles fall out, and I just don't want to mess with that. I do have a little bit of shedding, but it's not bad. It's not to the point where it makes me not want to use this. So I do think it's really soft. And if you're interested, I will have the Mikasa site link down below because they've redone the site. They've also reduced the prices, which is something I wanted to talk to you guys about. They have reduced their prices to be a little bit more affordable, and I do think that I like the aspect of having a much more affordable product. You guys know I'm a big fan of finding dupes and using, you know, cheaper alternatives. So I like how you can get both of these for $20, and I think that's a fair price for what you're getting. It's a full-size Kabuki brush. There's nothing small. Well, I mean, overall it's small because there's no handle, but there isn't, you're not sacrificing the size for something really tiny for that price. And the sponge works really great. Like I said, it blends in my foundation really well. And it does it fairly quickly. And that's another big thing for me because I need to be quick on the go. I have a toddler. I don't have time to sit here and play with these extra steps and do all these things. So I like how this just cuts my time really in half because it blends it out, as you will see in the demo. It just is so easy. So I want to go ahead and get into the demo so that you guys can see how I use both of these today. All right, so starting off with the Lemon Drop sponge, it has been dampened, so it's going to be somewhat more expanded than what it looks like when it's dry. So I've got my foundation mixed on the back of my hand, and what I like to do is start by applying a few dots all over the face. You can work in sections if you prefer, just whatever method works for you. But I like to apply just dots all over the place, and then I like to start with the flatter side of the sponge and just kind of like stippling this on. You can swipe, as you can see I'm swiping it down towards my neckline. You can apply it just any way you want, but these sponges work great for blending in everything pretty easy. As you can see, it literally took just a couple seconds to get one side done. Like, it's just so incredibly fast. And so again, just working in sections because I'm using the L'Oreal Pro Matte foundation, which tends to kind of set fairly quickly. So that may not be something that you have to do. So I do like this sponge, and as you can see, the bottom side, the flatter side of it is really good for getting larger areas of the face done. As you can see, it's also great for blending the foundation below the jawline. I think it's important to do that just in case your foundation may be slightly off a hair or two in color. It's going to make it look more blended and more even. And what I like about the sponge is that even though it's damp and it's not sopping wet with water, because that's not what you want, I feel like this helps absorb any excess product so you don't look like you have caked on foundation. So I think it's great. And next, for some concealer, I've just applied my concealer with the applicator that came with it. And as you can see, I'm like squishing down the tip of it to maneuver the sponge in order to get it to fit under my eye. It is rather large, that side, for the under eye area, but if you pinch the sponge a bit, it definitely works. And again, the same feel and look that you get with the foundation on your face is what you get when you apply your concealer using the pointed side. Next, we're moving on to the F250 Kabuki brush. This is the brush that I have been using a lot lately to set my foundation. I'm just taking just any old powder that I've got on hand, and as you can see, it picks up quite a bit of product, but it also helps buff in the product into the skin so that the powder doesn't look super heavy, and that's what I like about this brush as well. And I'm just going to set my foundation just to kind of get rid of any sort of sheen that I may have from the look of that wet foundation. And another great use for this is also bronzer. I've been using it a lot to bronze, as I mentioned earlier, bronzing, contouring. So I'm just using my go-to bronzer of the moment, and I'm just blending this in. And as you can see, it gives me a nice sort of bronzed glow all over without looking, you know, crazy or anything like that. And I feel like this helps blend everything in, and of course, again, blending the powder and the bronzer down my neck as well. So I hope that you guys found this review helpful. Like I said, even though these were sent to me, I'm giving you my honest opinion, and you will be seeing more of these tools incorporated into future videos. So if you have any questions or comments about the brand or about the products that I didn't cover, please leave your comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up, like the video, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I will have all of that information down below. I will also list the social media accounts for Mikasa Beauty so that you can tune in there as well if you'd like to follow. That'll all be listed in the description box. So thank you guys for joining me today, and have a fabulous day, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.